Hello, well this is my effort to use up the rest of my blueberries. As you recall, I ate 10 pounds of blueberries, plus I bought another 5 that I'm going to use up. Today I'm going to make some blueberry scones, and this is a wonderful recipe that is better than the rest, and I'll tell you why in a second. Right here I have 2 cups of flour, I have 1/2 cup of sugar, 2½ teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, and 1/2 teaspoon salt. These are the dry ingredients. I'll mix these together, and then I'm going to add 1/2 cup or 1 stick of frozen butter. You see that? I grated it with my box cutter, and I'm going to put it back in the freezer because it's going to get warm. Why would I do that? Well, the principle I do know is that when we work with this butter, it gets warm just from our hands and working with it. So that's when your chocolate chip cookies go bleh, they spread. This is going back into the freezer right now. By the way, you weren't supposed to see that I don't have the recipes memorized. I hope you don't think any less of me. This is going to take a few stages that you don't normally do when you make something sweet. But it's not hard. Remember, my butter is still in the freezer. So I'm going to add all the dry ingredients together. It is so humid, everything is sticking. I even have the air on. Here comes my baking powder, cinnamon, and salt. So I'm just going to whisk these together. Combine this before I add the butter. Now I'm going to add the butter, and remember, I've had this in the freezer. I grated it in a frozen state with my box grater. It's still frozen. I'm adding it to the dry. And of course, there's several ways you can do this. You can use your pastry cutter, which I'll try, or you can use your fingers, or you can use 2 forks. You know what I'll probably end up with, my fingers. But let's give this a whirl. Oh, it's going in pretty good. Now, I'm going to feel it with my fingers, though. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, and this whole thing is cold now because I had the butter in the freezer. Now, this is going back in the refrigerator to keep it cold until I finish it. Actually, I put the dry ingredients back in the freezer. You can put them either in the freezer or the refrigerator while you finish this step. I've also got my oven at 400 degrees. Okay, remember, here I have 1/2 cup of heavy cream, 1 large egg, and 1½ teaspoons of vanilla. I'm going to combine these, then we'll put them in with the dry ingredients. Here goes my cream, heavy cream. Get my spatula to finish this off. Now I'll put in my vanilla and my egg. That's right, I was going to try to do this slow-mo and make it look elegant, but let's see how I do. Yeah, that didn't go so well. Oh well. I was going to try to be fancy like the other people on YouTube. There. That's all combined. Here's something else I didn't tell you yet before we combine. I also have a cookie sheet, a little sheet with some, this is just wax paper on it, in the refrigerator getting cold, because what we're going to do is we're going to make the scones, form them, put them on this sheet, and have them in the refrigerator for 15 minutes. Why? We're cooling that butter back down. So let's get the show on the road. Okay, the blueberries are back in the picture, but first we're going to add the liquid. Just drizzle it over. We're going to mix it, and I will end up with my hands, and this is going to be sticky. If it's real sticky, you're going to have to add more flour. Can you see there? And I'm going to do this until it's in a shape that I can actually work with it. It's not quite there yet. And I'm going to add the blueberries. Keep working with this. It's going to be odd, it's going to be weird, it's not going to be all together because you're going to take care of that. So this is good right here. Let me put this aside. because you're going to flour this and you're going to form that into a round disc. Let's get this out. And it's going to be ooky gooky. See this? It looks like it's not going to happen. It will happen. See that? Your hands may need some more flour. You may need a little more liquid. You just kind of have to see how it comes together. With the measurements I've used, I've never had trouble with it not coming together. You want it to come together enough so you can make that disc. I think that's pretty good. You see this? I may have to zone in for you. Let me get a little more flour under there so we don't stick. Okay, this should be an 8-inch disc, so I'm going to see what I have. Ooh, good. So I'm just going to kind of make sure it's even, and it's 8 inches across. I'm going to cut it into 8 pieces. If you've never made scones, they really are kind of weird to make, unlike anything else. See how soft that's getting already? That's that butter that needs to go back in the fridge. This is getting easy to handle. That's that butter getting soft. So I'm going to put it on here. This will go in the fridge for 15 minutes. You can turn your oven on now to 400. And you have another sheet that you're going to bake these on. This is what we're doing for now. Whoop, let me let you see that. There. And they're soft. And that's because the butter is getting warm. What I'm going to do now is I have my 2 tablespoons of cream. I'm going to brush the scones with that. Doesn't that look decadent? Oh, it makes them so moist. Yes, you're going to paint it right on. All 2 tablespoons. Then I've got a little sugar over here, and I'm going to sprinkle a little sugar on there, just to give it that nice crispiness on top. There, I think we're good. Here comes the sugar. Just a little. And into the refrigerator for 15 minutes. You don't have to put it in the freezer. In we go. My scones have been in the refrigerator for 15 minutes. The recipe calls for at least 15 minutes, but I kept my butter so cold, I think I'm safe. You can see the cream has soaked in quite a bit. I've transferred them to this cookie sheet with parchment paper, and you want them at least 2 inches apart. So now these are going to go into a 400-degree oven for 22 to 25 minutes. I'm going to try 23 at first. Thought I'd try to show you the inside and the outside. They are beautiful, they are delicious. I'm going to freeze mine and pull them out on Saturday for an event. Give this one a try, I think you'd like it. Peaches are next. Till next time, bye-bye.